Welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors, where we keep you ahead of the curve, attracting more new patients and growing your business. Now, here's your host, Dr. D himself.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors. A very cool guest today, a PT, which is great, right up our corridor here. Thanks for joining us, Jessica. I appreciate you. You're from growpro.co.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. And it was interesting when you emailed me about this because you were talking about how you can bring in GLP-1s and peptides as a chiropractor. And I was like, I kind of shook it off at first. I'm like, nah, I've heard this before. But then you're like, no, wait, this is all turnkey and set up, which is very, very interesting for chiropractors. So those of you that run a multidisciplinary office, I think you need to listen to this podcast. This is going to be a great one. She's going to drop some bombs for you. So how did you get into this? What did you start off as? How did this all turn out?
How much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding.
As much as you want.
Well, I'm a PT of 26 years, and I accidented into doing social media for nurse practitioners about 8 years ago. I was doing some Instagram coaching with micro influencers because when I had my son, I spent a ton of time on Instagram, and I was flabbergasted that you could make money on a free app called Instagram. Mm-hmm. And a nurse practitioner found me, and she did post-op recovery care and medical aesthetics, and I started helping her with her page. Before I knew it, I had 30 or 40 nurse practitioners, and I started getting doctors and pretty much anyone in the healthcare space that wanted to do social and websites. And then I grew into doing ads. And about 4 years ago, when GLP-1s really hit the scene, all of my brick and mortars wanted to learn, how do I market this stuff on Facebook and Instagram? How do I sell these weight loss packages and do it in compliance? There's a lot of red tape on Facebook and Instagram, and it's gotten a lot tighter over the past several years. So I kind of niched down in the weight loss space and became an expert in how to market weight loss packages, not just weight loss medication, but, in office, usually like a Fit 3D body scanner, doing nutrition, doing the weekly weigh-ins, check-ins, having the guidance and support. And then a couple of years ago, all of these white label telemedicine kind of entrepreneurs started coming to me for help with their ads and their funnels and their social. I had no idea you could do white label telemedicine. So given what they told me, I reverse engineered it, and I figured out you only need 5 things. You need providers to write prescriptions in 50 states or the state that you're running. You need pharmacies to fulfill, some kind of software hub to pull it all together for your order management, basically like Shopify, right, for prescription medication. And legit script if you want to say the drug names online in your social media marketing, and merchant processing. So I put all that together and I said, I need to figure out how to do this myself so I could be of service to my clients. And I did. Started my own GLP-1 telehealth. I hit every pothole that you can hit, every sword there was to fall on, every wall there was to run into. And I finally figured it out. And I posted a piece of content about 9 months ago, pointing to those 5 things on the screen on an Instagram reel. My phone started blowing up. People asking me, how do I do this? How do I add this to my practice? How do I do an online telehealth brand? I have an audience, I have patients, or I had my own results and I want to share this with the world. And that's what I do now. I help people launch telehealth brands or add it to their brick and mortar.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's fun. I always love the story part because it tells you how you got into like me and marketing. And I'm still a chiropractor. I still run my practice. So I listen. I'm like the advocate for chiropractors. I'm like listening to all the things. I've tested a lot of things in my practice too, just for the sake of testing.
Exactly.
Which has cost me thousands of dollars. But
too.
Whatever. But you learn and you got to fall on those swords. So I've taken a few bumps and bruises for the profession. So the ones that work with me, I just save them a lot of money and time.
Exactly.
And that's by bringing people like you that have figured it out and be like, hey, do you really want to do weight loss? Do you really want to do GLP-1s? And like, yeah, I just can't figure it out. Well, here, the fastest road to A to B is calling Jessica and then getting her to set that all up for you, or, or me helping with decompression ads or whatever it is that you guys need to do there. So that's the cool part about saving people time. But DCs, like you said, didn't even know they could do this. So for those of you that run functional medicine offices, multidisciplinary, and anything outside of just chiropractic modalities, listen up. So how do you implement this? So once they call you and say, hey, what's the next thing that you tell them? Like, how do we do this, Jessica? What's your response to that?
That's a great question. Most people, like myself, you don't even really know what to Google, right? Like, you don't really even know that it's available, that you're able to implement white label telehealth into your business or start a new business. So education is usually the first key, and people are like, oh my gosh. So you can put all of these 5 things together. It can be branded to your business, and you can sell GLP-1s. You can sell peptides like Smorlin. You could do NAD, glutathione. You can even do hormones. And what it does is it allows an additional stream of revenue to the patients that you're already sitting on. And, I've seen some of your work, doctor, where you're talking about people are always looking for more revenue. We're always looking to increase your patient value and to add value to the services that you're doing. And, I, as a PT, worked in outpatient for 8 or 9 years, and a lot of people had difficulty reaching the goals that we had for their recovery because of obesity. They couldn't walk up and down stairs. They had back pain. They had all of these issues. And I know that chiropractors, PTs, even gym owners, a lot of people face these same struggles. So when we talk about GLP-1s in your clinic, it's not to differentiate the amazing pathways that you've already implemented, like you mentioned, doctor, with intermittent fasting and food modification and diet and exercise, but to couple that with these amazing drugs that actually work and get the results that these patients are looking for, and to add an additional stream of revenue for that business owner.
Yeah. I like what you said in the green room before the episode. Like, you can do everything you can as a physical therapist or a chiropractor to help someone, but if they're 150 pounds overweight and they've got knee pain, we know what we're thinking. We know what we want to tell the patient. I'm very direct. I tell the patient. Some others are like, listen, but then that's the whole reason I got into it. And we use something called ChiroThin. It's just the same thing, a secondary supplement company that created a program with intermittent fasting. But again, it's the old school fashioned way of eating well, skipping breakfast, giving your body a chance to lose weight. People do lose rapid weight with it because it's a low calorie program. But I mean, some people get into this like, I can't do that. I'm a cookie junkie. I'm a sugar junkie. I'm never going to be able to do this. And now we're combating GLP-1s. Honestly, the popularity of them is through the roof. My patients come in pretending to be hippies and crunchies, but they are in 2025, and they do believe that they ask questions all the time. What do you think? Am I going to get stomach paralysis? Am I going to do this? I'm like, well, we got to clear you. We got to do a history. We got to do an exam, make sure that you're clear to use this. And there's a lot of other options, and a lot of them are actually evolving and getting a lot better. These peptides are becoming better amino acid chains. I'm following the research. I'm not living under a rock. I know it's there, and I'm just listening to my patients. So what a great opportunity that you've kind of figured it out to just literally turnkey, call you up. Everything is set up with the labels, the providers, probably need at least a nurse practitioner or an MD to sign off on this stuff. And then the patient's taken care of by multiple eyes, not just by you, but also through the provider that wrote the prescription as well. So that's great. And they're verified pharmacies as well. I remember that was a big issue in 2023 was the pharmacies. So that's great that you got that tackled as well. So, but hey, let's say you're against GLP-1s. You still call Jessica for your weight loss program because she's figured it out. Remember, the tackling that I've been doing is like Google hates weight loss. Facebook hates weight loss. You can't say weight loss. You can't show before and after pictures. There's a lot of rules with weight loss. And if you do break those rules, you will get banned. Your ad account will get banned. And then that's the ones that are such a struggle to help those doctors because their accounts are banned and all that. So calling you saves a bunch of trouble there too, right?
Right. We've figured out, we do a lot of UGC and micro-influencer work, and we've learned what to say, what not to say. And as far as the marketing component, there's some basics. I'll give you some free tips. Facebook and Instagram don't like to see a tape measure around the waist on an image or video. They don't like to see before and after side by side, but you could do some creative things with that. If someone shows their full body image before and then it kind of slides over to their now picture, those are a little bit easier to do. They don't like zoomed in body parts, so having just someone's stomach or just someone's thigh area is a red flag that's going to get your ad probably flagged and potentially get your account disabled. But what people are really looking for now is storytelling. And if you have the ability to have micro influencers or even patients in your office that are willing to go and shoot a video for you, you want to make sure that you get their consent. You obviously want to make sure that you have some kind of little drafted model release form that you give to them for you to put their post on your account. And just telling, there's basically testimonials, right? You can hire people to do that, which we do all the time. And just to be clear, to go back on your point about the MDs and nurse practitioners in pharmacies, we are not talking about research grade animal use only peptides here. We're talking about prescription medication with a provider network. The patient fills out a form on your website that we help build for you, asking all of the medical questions, making sure that only qualified people are getting to the checkout, meaning they're not pregnant or breastfeeding, they haven't had bariatric surgery in the past 6 months, they don't have thyroid cancer, etc. And then that provider reviews that chart, issues the prescription if the patient has medical necessity. And then the pharmacies are definitely legit script certified and certified pharmacies that are able to fulfill those compounded meds. So we're not doing anything gray zone. We're not doing anything with research peptides. This is all straight and narrow, making sure that that patient has pharmaceutical grade medication under a doctor's care.
Great. That's for the PSA for everyone. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we get into the process a little bit, because some people, it sounds nice. Maybe they failed doing it on their own, or maybe they just never tried it. That's a lot of my functional med chiros. They're just like, I haven't really tried it. So they give you a call, you onboard them, you solve the marketing issue, because now you're going to create people that actually want the product, so new patients, which is great. How does it work on the back end for the chiropractor? What does a day in the life of a chiro coming in, working with you look like in their office?
That's a great question. So very simply, you're a chiropractor, you come in and say, hey, Jess, I've got, a book of business, 1,500, 2,000 patients that I've developed over the last several years. I have a lot of people that are going down the street to the med spa or, going online to other avenues, but I'm their trusted, healthcare partner. Just like, I know people that have been with their chiropractors for years, just like women that are with their hairstylists for years, that's your go-to. So you're sitting kind of on a gold mine of turning that trust into revenue and to results for people. So people come to me, we talk to them and say, okay, what do you want to sell? Do you want to do just GLPs? Do you want to do NAD, Somorelin? Okay, these are the 6, medications that I want to do. We get them set up with a provider network. We get the integration to our telehealth platform. We have a software hub that pulls everything together. When I first started this, I went through 3 platforms and they all frankly sucked. There was no autonomy. I couldn't see the order status. I had to ask somebody to make a coupon for me, and it was way too much work. And the whole point of this is to automate it, right? We want the chiro or the PT or whatever practitioner to be able to do their job and to have this amazing other stream of revenue that's very low maintenance. So the only thing really is putting all those pieces together, which takes a few weeks. We can do a splash page, landing page, or we can add those services to your existing website. And the form and everything is integrated and all there. And the patient gets informed all along the way. So let's say Mrs. Smith says, I've been getting these GLPs down the street from the med spa. It's costing $700. You offer it for $300. She's like, this is great. I love you anyways, Dr. Smith. She fills out the form. Within 24 hours, the doctor issues the prescription if she's eligible. She gets that information. Doctor's picked up your chart. Here's your prescription. Pharmacy fulfills it. She gets an email and a text message along the way with tracking, and it's pretty seamless. So the only thing the chiro, PT, or practitioner needs to do is a little bit of customer service. You probably already have someone sitting at the desk to check and see, and it's basic customer service things like, I forgot forgot to put my apartment number in my address. Am I going to get my medication? This gets sent to the patient's door. So you're not storing medication. You don't have to deal with all of the regulations and get an NP and a medical director. This is basically drop shipped to their door, discreet shipping, and every month it's just the same cycle. So a little bit of customer service that might take you 10 hours or less a week. One of my vials got shipped and the seal seems broken. I can't seem to draw out my medication. So we handle all of the pharmacy kind of issues. If a vial breaks in transit, we replace it for you. I pride myself on customer service. There's nothing worse than buying the shiny new cool thing and nobody's there to help you with the shiny new cool thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's very low maintenance. It's low financial barrier to entry. It's not like hiring an additional staff to do this whole program. And it could be as easy as a QR code at your front desk. Hey, we now offer GLP-1s. And to entree into how do I market this? You probably have some kind of CRM for emails. You probably have a newsletter going out a couple of times a month. Hey, now offering. And you just put the link to these treatments in your email newsletter, and people are able to do it from the comfort of their own home on their iPhone, and you make the revenue. You can set the price for whatever you want to set it for, and watch your additional revenue stream increase. And every patient is really 3 patients, right? If you have Judy, and Judy's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I lost 20 pounds. Well, Judy's husband and her best friend are going to be patients too. And that's the beauty of this. It's how it works. There's probably 5 people on everybody's cell phone that's on a GLP-1. And it's all price shopping is a big deal now. What are people looking for? They're looking for a trusted partner, someone that they can trust with decent customer service. It's not just about price anymore. And that person can be you.
Yeah, I barely. That's great. You answered it perfectly. I barely heard any work for the chiropractor there. You didn't. There was really nothing to do. So,
right, everything is basically set up for you. And at the end of 9 or 10 weeks, I hand you the keys to a fully functional white label telehealth business.
Yeah,
that's it.
And then as the patients come in, they're just filling out an online form.
Correct. That they
as long
can
as they qualify,
sitting in your waiting room.
Sending it for that provider on the back end is sending it for them. So Kairos, if you made it this far into the podcast, this is like a no-brainer on the back end if you're completely lazy. So they're probably thinking, well, what do I make on this? They probably make something off of the $300, right?
Sure. So the provider visit is $30, which a lot of other white label telehealth businesses out there charge $40, $45, $55. So it's $30 for the provider to write the script. And the cost of pharmacy goods can run anywhere between starting dose of semaglutide, maybe around $80, $82. And then obviously as the dose increases, it increases. So our average profit per prescription is about $150 to $350 per script, depending on the dosage.
Let's keep it real. So $150 per patient per month. I want you guys to do some math here.
Right.
Now, if you work with me on this and Jessica on the side, and you just call me up and say, how do I make this better? You create an internal program on that for them as well with checkups on this monthly. They come on in, and then instead of $300 a month, it ends up working out to $375 a month for them. But they got you as their provider checking in on their weight loss physically in the presence. So you can turn this into anything you want it to be. And that's kind of like how we're doing it on the holistic way without GLP-1s is they come in every 3 weeks for their check-ins. It's a weight thing, a measuring thing, just to show that they're getting some weight loss. And then you can couple it with some other things in your office as well. If you have red light therapy, like you just start doing all this stuff because they're going to lose the weight. They're going to need the collagen stuff. And then it can really turn into something. I know personal friends around the country that are chiropractors that now have tipped the scale and do $500,000 a year in their weight loss and red light. And they do whatever 300, 400K in their chiro side. So whatever it is, they've because they figured out these systems, and then they've got it flowing. And then you hire a health coach or a wellness coach or somebody, whatever, that comes on in to help you with that. If you're doing an internal model, otherwise, I would just do it, Jessica, clean and mean on the back end, and they're just getting their weight loss GLP-1 stuff. If you agree with this stuff, I mean, these are really cool. And you're the first person I've crossed paths that have answered a back and forth email with actual tangible solutions to the problems that people are running into. So you've truly got it all fixed in all 50 states. So that is wonderful. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
Great.
I appreciate that.
And that's it. So, and then another thing, I hope they've been listening to me, because if they have been listening to me for the last 3 years, they have this huge email list. Because I think every 5 podcasts I do is about email marketing.
Right, exactly.
And you need to just grow this thing so that every time something like this pops up, an opportunity pops up, and you're like, I wonder if this is going to work. And you hit a send button to 15,000 emails that live within 5 miles of your office.
Oh my gosh.
New patients like that are going to call you that week. They're going to be like, what is this? What is the GLP-1 thing? I'm like, well, there you go. Now 150 times 150, that's your homework project. Put that into your calculator. Figure it out. That's how much money you're going to make probably in the next 3 months if you just figure it out. So that's the
thing is, these medications, the average length of time, people speculate it depends on how much weight someone has to lose. And, microdosing is a really big avenue as well. After these drugs have been out for so long, they've hit their weight loss goals. So there's still an opportunity for microdosing at some level. But, if someone stays on this medication for 6 months, it's not like a 1 month or a 2 month thing. This is monthly recurring revenue that you're able to count on. And with microdosing being an opportunity as well, it could turn into 9 to 12 months per patient. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity. And let's really emphasize we're helping people. And I love what you said about creating programming. I'm not an advocate of just pushing drugs online for the sake of revenue. What you're doing here is using your medical license, your knowledge, your expertise, and creating a program where people that already love and trust you, they have goals that they want to reach. If GLP-1s are in alignment with your practice and you have a need in your office, it could be something worth exploring, for sure.
It always comes from a place of helping people. I've never been a chaser of, these fads and these money-making things. So I started the podcast with the patient that needs to lose 80 pounds for their knee pain. These are the people who are going to tell them, hey, I know the diet thing doesn't work for you. I know you have a sugar craving. I know you've struggled with yo-yo diet. I know it's this. And I know you're against all these medications. But what if I told you I've got providers that will look at your history, make sure it's suitable for you, and will supervise you over it? How's your life going to look in 6 months when you're 50 pounds lighter? Do you think that's going to help the knee pain? And I mean, that's a legit conversation I had on Thursday in my office. And people are like, yeah, you're probably right. My life's probably going to be different. I'm like, you're right. There you
Way
go.
different.
Go. And now you got a tangible thing with your program, $300 a month. I mean, they're going to be like, hey, that sounds good. Sounds easy. It's affordable. I think that's an affordable number. You're right. Some people are paying $700 a month for this stuff.
Totally.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So grow, GROW, pro.co. Check it out. That's how you can get directly in with Jessica. If you have any other questions, I'll pass them off for you to Jessica. But this is a great podcast for those of you that have been just sitting on the sideline thinking, what else can I do? So instead of buying the big, shiny $75,000 whatever Shockwave, maybe it's this. Maybe it's something like this that is just offhand. You don't have to hire anyone. You don't need a device that's going to break down in 3 years.
Plug and play.
Yeah, right. Plug and play. I love it.
Plug and play.
Thanks, Jessica.
You're welcome. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, have a great week.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a rating. It helps get our podcast out to more listeners. Also, join Marketing 101 for Chiropractors on Facebook or visit us at enricod.com for more information on growing and scaling your business.